Hey traders, hello. Welcome to the new edition of the Crypto Lab with Alex in 2021. Firstly, I would like to wish you a happy new year, and I hope this year will be at least a little bit better for us in 2021. We all know what happened in the crypto space, so let's dive in immediately. I hope you spend your weekends well, but as you can see, and holidays, but as you can see, the markets are not waiting, they are working, especially crypto space is working 24/7, 7 days a week. So lots of developments there, so let's dive in immediately and start to see what is probable outcomes of the some of the wave counts that we have and that we worked on with our members. So let's start as usual with the Bitcoin. So let me just englare the chart so you can see it. As you know, we use the Elliott wave methodology, and always when we analyze and try to pinpoint some of the wave movements, we start from the higher time frame. So let's start here. This is a monthly time frame. I'm going to go step by step on a smaller time frames, and as we presented last time, our overall wave count on the higher time frames is working pretty good. I just want to note you for the reference. This is our chart room, and our first of some of the bullish wave counts we had on cryptos was back then in August, and we presented our members this chart on the higher time frame, looking for a potential wave 3, 4 and 5 on the upside. We also had a nice wave count on the Ethereum. We were looking several scenarios, but the break of this channel was kind of an abrupt, and we were looking now for a potential move up in a third wave. So I have struggled a bit on a kind of a swing trading time frames. I was expecting a correction to come a little bit earlier, but I was wrong. So I'm going to observe and present you now some of the wave counts, and maybe if you have some ideas you can also drop them in. So let's look these developments from this 2010. As you know, we count this as a wave 1 up, down in 2, and now we are looking for the development of this orange wave 3. As you know, probably if you want to measure nicely with the corrections some upside potential of the wave 3, you have some standard Fib ratios where this target can be. And by these ratios, we kind of have approximate target where some of the assets classes price might get to before some of the larger corrections occurs. So we also need to have a clear 5-wave subdivision in the wave 3, and here we definitely have it. So from this wave 2, we have a nice push on the upside in a wave 1, pullback in a wave 2, very nice push in the wave 3, secondary correction or a balancing act in the wave 4, and we have now obviously looking for the further upside on the Bitcoin in these subdivisions in a wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is our overall outlook, which we track on a daily time frames. I will also show you some of the additional wave counts that might also be possible. We like to have optionality, and the Elliott wave methodology allows us actually to have this optionality and basically play with the wave counts and see for some other clues that might develop. So if I scroll this to the, or go down to the daily, as you can see, the progression is definitely very strong. So if we count this as a triangle, post-triangle trust is a wave 1, 2, and now we are working potential wave 3, pullback in a wave 4, and a further continuation upside in the wave 5. So this is the kind of a higher time frame. My favorite wave count is a little bit different. it actually, instead of this triangle here, I will remove this other, so that you can see a little bit more clearly what are the labels. This wave count is a little bit more directional instead of this triangle here, because we really had a short move down in this possible E wave. From the Elliott wave standpoint, it's completely valid, but I want to have optionality on this in the case that this was not a triangle. So in this case, we have a nice push up in a wave 1, down in 2, up in 3, a little bit shorter ABC pullback from the last highs, all-time highs in 2017. As you know, the narrative there at these levels was that the Bitcoin is going to go down to 1,000, that the crypto market is doomed. If you remember a year or two back, the narrative was completely different than it's today. And actually, with our members, we successfully called lows, and we had some exposure on the upside here. We also traded successfully this correction, but I had some of the kind of swing trading Elliott wave vision that we are going to have a little bit more of a corrective fractal subdivisions before this possible third wave on the upside actually roars like this in the end of this year and beginning of the next one. So I will also show you some additional wave counts I'm still tracking with the possible corrective pullbacks and further developments on the upside. So definitely we are going to stay bullish on the Bitcoin. We are just going to look for some type of a possible outcomes we might see on the, it's just kind of a different wave counts, I would say, how this progression on the upside will continue in the future. I would like to stress one more thing, because as we know, we have Bitcoin dollar pair. So this is a Bitcoin dollar. As the other currencies, it's obviously measuring the price of one currency compared to the other. So our wave count on the dollar index, which I think it's an important also for the possible development in price in a Bitcoin, and also some of the counts that we have on some stock indexes, suggests that this move down from the March start of the pandemic, Fed interest rate cut and swap lines they offered to the central banks, and by that increasing liquidity of the dollar into the system, also the big deficits, and we all know the story, what is going on, caused the dollar to drop rapidly. And we also kind of looked that when this was occurring. So if you see my wave count on the dollar index, you can see that we also have a very nice subdivision in the wave 1 down, up in 2, down in 3, up in 4, and now we are working the last sequence. So I think this nice fib ratio here around 88 will be the last move in dollar on this lower cycle, and I'm expecting a larger pullback in dollar to occur in the next few weeks. And I think this will be an abrupt event on the upside in this wave A, down in B, and up in C. So we have to somehow include this in our possible analysis of a Bitcoin, because we have a Bitcoin dollar pair. So obviously what's going on dollar should have effect on a Bitcoin as well. And as you can see, I don't see much space in a dollar moving lower. I see a few subdivisions and then a further continuation to the downside, but that downside, it's very limited and it's very small. So we have to be very attentive and also look on that side what might happen there. So back to the Bitcoin. So let's explore some of the options. So I will bring my all of the wave counts back on a smaller time frame. So if we scroll down to daily, we can measure the subdivision definitely in a possible wave 3 on the upside. Since we have all the qualities of the wave 3, as you know, wave 3 is in Elliott wave methodology is described as a very sharp vertical almost a 90% angle advance. So this is, if you look these subdivisions, we have exactly that. We have a very vertical move on the upside, which is kind of announcing of the strongest move in the current trend, and usually we qualify that as a third wave, and we use some standard Fib ratios for this type of measurements. So if we are in this type of an event of moving upside, we should have additional wave 3, wave 4 and a wave 5 to complete this orange wave 3. This is a rather close, I think, to 56 or 60,000, and then we're gonna see a pullback back approximately down to 34, 40,000, and then additional move on the upside to reach this green wave 3, which will pair actually with this wave 1 of the current Fib projections around 200%, and then we will experience potentially a larger correction in wave 4 and then a further continuation. So definitely we have to stay bullish on a Bitcoin. We just have to see for the possible subdivisions, and I think these subdivisions maybe are in front of us. So this is the extremely bullish wave count, which means that even if the dollar starts to move higher, we will see actually Bitcoin resists this move in dollar on the upside, and we will see a minor corrections and a further continuation before some other event force us in this larger degree green wave 4. Okay, so this is a more directional wave count. I will show you also one other solution which I'm also looking very attentively, and this is concerned with this fourth wave triangle. We know that the post-triangle thrusts are the final one in that sequence, so any such a large consolidation, which you can basically describe as a balancing act or a triangle or a wedge, as you know in a usual technical analysis, we can also subdivide that in 5-wave sequence, which means that the post-triangle thrust should also have a discernible 5-wave subdivision on the upside. So I will keep this possibility also looking at this dollar wave count, that we might be potentially in a first 5-wave sequence completed, and that we are just gonna experience a little bit larger pullback on a Bitcoin, which I will go now to a daily wave count, which actually also subdivide very nicely. We have a small wave 1 and 2 up in 3, 4, and now we are working out the final sequence up to, I think, 43,000, which also pairs very well with the dollar index wave count. And from there, we should at least have a little bit more deeper correction, which will take us usually to this previous wave 4 in some type of an ABC pullback. And I must say this also aligns with our wave count on stocks. I'm also concerned if our wave count that the team in trading analysis does and do very excellent job on it, we might see that some of the funds which has exposure in stocks also increasing their exposure in Bitcoin might cut some of the peripheral holdings just to sustain this possible correction on the stocks as well. In that case, they will have to decrease a little bit of their holdings of the cryptos, and potentially this might produce with the short-term traders also going into it, we might see some relief of this already accumulated tension on the upside. We might see a temporary correction which will come back to, let's say, 15 to 20,000, and then a continuation above much higher level ahead. So if we do a simple projection of this post-triangle wave 1 and 2 for the wave 3, you will see that we are talking for equality of some very high levels. This one is around 70,000, and this one is around 180,000. So this is a usual 1618 projection. I'm also forgot to tell you that this is a log scale. I don't use very much arithmetic scale for these larger time frame wave counts because I don't think it's suitable. it looks much better on the log scale. So I think this type of a correction is not impossible one. So we have seen this type of corrections previously in cryptos. I will also warn, although this doesn't mean much until we see a clear move to the downside, that the RSI readings, which I look sometimes, are very high on the weekly and on the daily level. So we might kind of just be on guard for this potential outlook. Okay, so this is one of the wave counts I'm keeping in my back pocket, looking simply at possible developments in the dollar index wave count. I will just say the last time I presented also the option that we might also have a possible flat. I will have to rule out that option now because we passed very much 1272 extension, which we technically look for a possible three-wave move. So this will be actually a 335. It is a running flat in a Elliott wave methodology, and since we are passing very strongly this 1272, I will have to basically cancel this wave count, so it's no longer very valid. So I will have to construct another possible bearish option to have it as an optionality, because people are oftenly very confused when you see some Elliotticians have several wave counts. The point of having several wave counts, as I said few times, is that we really have a clear sign points where some key levels are broken or are passed. We know exactly that the current trend either might continue or might be in some type of consolidation or a temporary problem. So anyhow, since these levels are clearly passed, I have to cancel this wave count, so I will have to erase all of this, and I will have to look for some other probabilities here because this wave count is clearly off the table. So just to sum it up, this one is more directional. It looks for a more sustained Bitcoin upside move. This one will actually tell us that the dollar move on the upside should not cause much of a problems for the Bitcoin, and which it should take us for a smaller correction and then a further continuation on the upside. And this one, which I'm also looking, is a post-triangle thrust in 5 waves, a little bit deeper correction, and then continuation on the upside. Okay, so let's look some of the other cryptos. We know that all of the crypto space is roaring on the upside. As you can see, this is our crypto board. We also look some of the other cryptos with our members, and we try to find some of the new viable projects. I think that many of the kind of investors from the outside are just looking Bitcoin and Ether, and I think on the investment time frame you can find a much more viable projects for the next few years, which will grow very well on the blockchain technology. So I will also urge you to do research and to find some projects if you are interested to be invested on a longer time frame on the crypto space. As from the news, we had a news which actually propelled the Stellar on the upside. I think we were looking Stellar last time, and actually our wave count was unfolding very well. We were looking for a little bit lower level, but the news from the Ukraine, basically that Ukraine will use a Stellar platform to issue their CBDC, actually propelled Stellar on the upside very abruptly. So as you can see, our wave count was rather spot on. So from this lows here, we count this as a leading diagonal in a wave 1, pullback in a wave 2, a nice move up in a wave 3, and then a consolidation without the key invalidation level here. And then from there we have seen a wave 1 from this nice support zone, down into, and this is a very strong push on the upside. In the wave 3 I expect a little bit more sideways correction, potentially a triangle, and one more push on the upside in stellar, where I would look for a shorter term correction here and then a continuation on the upside. So basically on stellar, on the higher time frames, we are looking for a 1-2-1-2, which is a very bullish price action. If we start to move here on the upside further, which I will really not expect to, it might happen, but this is just one time Ukraine announcement event. We will see if some other countries will follow in the future, but definitely I would like to have this one as a 1-2-1-2 win, which will actually offer, if it occurs, a nice potential entry or a zone that we are going to look for around 0.17 again, where this correction might actually go, and then further continuation on the upside as the fractal nature of the market takes the stellar for this green blue wave 3. Sorry, on this wave count it's a green wave 4, and we are looking for a green wave 5 on the upside. There has been a lot of question that I have received either from members or from outside viewers. What do I see on stellar? So let me just present you the stellar chart, and not stellar, sorry, Ripple. Let me just present you the Ripple chart. I always somehow confuse these two. Let me just find it here. So Ripple has experienced some of the move on the upside. I don't see potentially this wave count still, that Ripple is just gonna sustain this lawsuit in this current 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the wave 1. This is just a pullback ABC in a wave 2, and we're going to continue up in the wave 3. I don't think there is environment for that yet. We have seen the news that some of the crypto exchanges removed stellar from their actually quote sheet. So I'm thinking, looking at all of the environment, that potential wave count on the stellar might be something like this. So I think that this suit will go over for the next potentially 6 months or even a year. I hope maybe it's going to be resolved earlier. But if you look also, this wave count looks viable. That we had 3 waves down in A, some type of a flat in an X wave, and that we're going to do A up in B, down in C. So actually, if this I see to be developing on Ripple, I will look these levels to be very, very good for a potential return. Everybody is throwing their cards away from Ripple, but I will not do so until I see a break of this 0.420 or 0.06 levels here, breaking decisively on the downside. So I will still kind of in the back of my eye observed Ripple. I think nevertheless it is centralized. It is very well suited also to serve some of the needs that we have in the banking sector, and potentially when this lawsuit is over, we are going to experience maybe a nice catch up on the upside, and we will track this for you and present it on the Crypto Lab. So I think we should look and observe this with the back of our eyes, and actually looking what it might occur with Ripple. Some of the other wave counts that we are tracking, Litecoin is moving on the upside. We are still following a post-triangle trust in a possible also wave 1. I'm looking for this wave, orange wave 1. I'm looking for some pullback as well and continuation on the upside. More or less, some of the cryptos that we see are lagging. It's NEO. NEO is lagging the current move on the upside. We are still looking for a possible consolidation here. I will show you my preferred wave count. So this one is actually saying that if we experience a shorter term correction, we should see a NEO easing up a little bit as long as we hold these levels where we are now, and then I think the opportunity will be presented in NEO to further continue on the upside. This is still a hypothesis wave count, but I see some of these cryptos are actually lagging the current move on the upside, and potentially in the next run on the crypto space they might be very interesting for the further move on the upside. Some of the crosses, we have seen a very huge move on the upside in Ethereum, Bitcoin. This might continue. I have transferred my wave count because that wave count I have presented didn't work. We went lower before breaking up on the upside. We have broke some key levels. We didn't took a position because we always with our members look for a confirmation, and we were just leaving this to unfold. And for now I'm looking a kind of a very brightly on Ethereum, and then in that respective I will have this completely valid leading diagonal on the upside in a wave A or 1, a pullback in an ABC reaching perfectly this equality measured move down to 0.02 and 0.0229 zone, and from there we can see this move up, which I hope it's going to develop in some type of a 5-wave sequence. And if this actually happens, we will have a kind of a material to build a possible further bullish continuation on the upside, either in the wave 3 of C or C in this Ethereum Bitcoin cross. There is also some other interesting crosses I can show you. I'm tracking also NEO Bitcoin. I think it completely aligns with my NEO dollar wave count. I think NEO will be very interesting for a possible longs. As you can see here, we were kind of monitoring here a 5 waves up and then a nice 5 waves down in A, up in B, and now we are observing some type either of or a triangle or a directional move down to this 0.00132, and I think these levels and this fib zone will be very interesting. RSI is already down, so we have to look for some probabilities here that potentially we might go a little bit on the upside or sideways. Any substantial break of this channel, which means that NEO is doing something else, and we can also say that even if we break this wave count invalidation levels in this potential wave 4, we can look for some other options. But I think looking the overall wave count on this cross, this might present also a nice opportunity when we and if we get down to these levels. So let me see some of your questions and try to respond on that. Hey William, how are you? Steve, some known faces. Yeah, I don't know about the URL to this website. I think you can find it always on our Todd Gordon's YouTube channel. Usually we post the link few days back, or even I post it every time on my Twitter page, so that should not be a problem. Hey Juan, how are you? Bitcoin Cash, yes, okay, I will look for you Bitcoin Cash. Hello Confident, yeah, we are preparing some of the edition of the trading analysis on the crypto course. It's going to be a full guide to the trading crypto space with from the beginning of explaining the blockchain down to a trading, which time frames, how you should actually manage your risk on cryptos. Should you trade it swing trading, day trading, or investor time frame? I'm preparing an extensive crypto course which will be finished I think in 20-25 days. It's a lots of work, so I think you should find there all of necessary information from a novice crypto trader to a kind of intermediary one, because you will find all necessary information in that crypto course, and it will be online, I hope, in 20-25 days. Yeah, okay, hi Fernando. We looked for the stellar, so I think that's fine. Yeah, Kasim, I'm looking for that pullback. As I said, I was looking for a move up in dollar index. So yes, I'm looking for that pullback as well. When the S&P and if the S&P starts to move lower. So as you can see, I'm always using if I want to see a confirmation. I want to see a dedication of the market. So some of the hypotheses that we start to look through the wave counts, it starts to give us a bit more probability that a certain wave count might unfold. So we always kind of weight these probabilities, and some of the price action gives us this kind of a small edge that we can be in front of, potentially in front of some of the moves. We don't see that still on the S&P, so we are waiting for some confirmation that potential wave 2 might be starting soon. GBTC, yeah, we are looking that. I can look that for you. So let's potentially look here. I think it's on TradingView. Okay, I will just present you shortly this compound. I presented that last time, and I was looking here for a possible expanding leading diagonal on the upside, which is unfolding quite nicely. So on Compound, which is one of the protocols on the decentralized finance, we have a nice 5 waves up in one, and then we have a nice corrective pullback in two, or B, which reached exactly equality. So post that lows, we have a nice development here in a 1-2 up in 3, 4, and 5. Since we have seen this overlap here, it indicates that potentially we are in some type of an expanding leading diagonal, which is a variety of the impulsive wave. And then when we see potentially this wave 5 here, there is also some of the measurements we track between these waves in this potential expanding leading diagonal. We should experience a pullback, and then that pullback, I think, will be a kind of a spot which we need to observe and look for a further continuation on the upside. So I think Compound has a very appealing initial structure. I need to see a little bit more upside here, completion of this expanding leading diagonal, and then a possible reversal here at the previous wave B, which will act as a resistance. And then if we see a 3-wave pullback, I think Compound should be taken seriously for the possible further upside. So let's look on TradingView. I don't have GBTC. I have to go to TradingView and look there. So let's do that. Okay, so let's see the charts. I think that GBTC kind of reflects Bitcoin price, but since it is the ETF, it doesn't reflect it um, precisely. As you can see, I have here, because it was introduced in 2016, we lack some of the previous moves in the Bitcoin, but in general, this is also my initial wave count. So I'm going to look either this as a potential triangle, but if you look the beginning of here, there is not much sense to put a triangle here because it's just in the middle of a beginning sequence. So I'm still wondering, I'm tracking a possible bullish development. So it's possibly we might have here 1-2, and then we might see another 1-2, and then a continuation on the upside. I don't think that GBTC will stay bullish if the Bitcoin drops. And then, of course, we will track that, and possibly we will look for some type, either a fourth wave pullback and then a continuation, or some type of a wave 2. So we will see. So for now, I have to respect the trend. I have to follow the further move on the upside in this potential wave 3. I'm gonna stay bullish on this one. I'm just gonna pair that up with my Bitcoin wave count, although they're not functioning completely together. I will definitely be open to some corrective pullbacks, but on this time frame, I have to stay bullish on this one. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know a running flat option. I think we passed this way. I don't see the running flat back to 1,000, 3,000. I think that the narrative on Bitcoin changed substantially, and we are going towards a 1 trillion market cap, which is already a little bit more serious than 200 billion we had a few months back. So at 1 trillion, I think that some of the other big players will start to consider a possible small exposure on the crypto space, especially Bitcoin. So if we see that actually occurring, uh, 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 basically Bitcoin space will become a little bit dangerous to other assets classes. So will everybody will move to a Bitcoin in this fiat world? I still don't see that. Potentially, if this COVID crisis continues, we might see that, because if the central bank starts to increase monetary supply, and we live more and more in a debasement of currencies, gold doesn't offer alternative, presumably because we are in a technological age and we are in a digital age, so Bitcoin is divisible and digital. So in that sense, it might be a little bit more preferred. Me personally, I like more gold, because I don't think we can function in a premises that the Bitcoin can be actually replaced or taken as a gold, because it's something we created. It's not created from the outside sources, and by definition of that, it's scarce. But as we live in a new millennial age technology, I think that story will actually pass through, and that we are going potentially switch and look kind of a Bitcoin in a possible way of a store of value, potentially even a currency that we might use, but current narrative is store of value and the yielding instrument or a vehicle for investors. So I don't. It's more philosophical question, I would say. So I don't see a move back to 1,000. Maybe if the countries ban it, we see a little bit more regulation, but we really don't see a ban. Kind of, like, okay, we forbid every trading with the Bitcoin and on the crypto space. On opposite side, we see an expansion of the countries which are gonna flock into crypto space. So I don't think 1,000, 3,000 it's possible at this stage. Yeah. Okay. Hi. So GBTC is in the motive wave via the TD Ameritrade data feed. Okay, I will look into that. That will give and be much more easier, because TradingView is not so kind of a still a platform which you can work easily with these wave counts and fib ratios. So I would prefer to have that in a multi-wave platform, that's for sure. Kyle, yeah, we don't do gold here. I mean, it's a designated crypto space, but as you know, my wave count on gold was preferred one was bearish. I didn't look today what it did. I will look a little bit later. But if we are still moving lower because some of the yields pushed a little bit higher, I will look for this 1,600, 1,700 levels as a potential support. Anyhow, I looked for a three-wave pullback there. So yeah, guys, I hope you can derive some of the value of this presentation that we are doing here in Crypto Lab. Please hit the like button, because as you know, we would like to have a more visibility in the YouTube. So like button will do a trick, as you know. So thank you on that. I will continue to track very rigorously our wave counts and the process. We have a three-step process in trading analysis. We do a pattern recognition, we do a very rigorous risk management and trade management afterwards. So if you like to become our member, please do. We have a nice a Discord channel with our members, as you can see here, where we exchange new projects, exchange charts, do shorter term trading, and all of the other stuff. It's a private channel that we have, and I must say some of, if not all of members became very profound in the Elliott wave methodology. Some of them are still learning, some of them are producing a really nice wave count, and that's also one of the things we do at trading analysis. We kind of shorten the learning curve for people which likes and which kind of perceive this methodology as a possible lens through which they will look the market. So thank you on the attention, and I hope I see you next week. So leave the comments, hit the like button, and see you next week with the new developments. If we see these pullbacks on the Bitcoin, I think we will be able to pinpoint and orientate ourselves more exactly what is going to occur next. Yeah, see you. Stay safe, and once more, all the best in 2021. Bye bye.